Hello, Al here, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm up at my friends at AMR for another kind of first ride review of a bike. This is a bike that's been out for a wee while, right enough. That's a TRK 702. Now that's my CB500X over there. And this bike is kind of interesting to me because it's a good halfway house between that CB500X and maybe something a bit more powerful. So have a quick walk around to this 702. Very nice in this white and black colour scheme. This is the roads going version, more the touring version. You also get the X, which is your kind of more off-road focus with your wire wheels, longer travel suspension things. But this is the kind of road focus one. So the plan today is we'll take it around the local town, some more normal roads, 60 mile an hour roads, and we'll come back with a return on the dual carriageway. So let's get on the road. Very light clutch the bike's got, it's the first thing I've noticed, and the bars are quite high. I'm probably going the wrong way here, but never mind. Oh, that works. Right. Okay, so we've got quite a small screen up the front there, which leads down onto your TFT, and just above the TFT you've got your main warning lights for the bike. Back brake there's quite firm and nice. So obviously it's the very first time riding this, so I'm not familiar with the bike at all. Very smooth pull away there. Kind of no juddering or hesitation. Closing the throttle, it slows down nicely. There's no initial dive when you shut the throttle, that some bikes occasionally have. So third gear at 30 mile an hour, it pulls along okay. It's not the smoothest bike in the world, that's my initial impression. And fourth gear, speed limit here is 40, so we'll take it up to fifth gear at 40. It's fine, there's no vibration or anything like that in the mirrors. I can feel a very slight vibration through the bars, but it's nothing of any concern, and there's no vibration through the foot pegs. Now that I've got used to the slightly different position, initially it felt a bit strange with the high bars and my feet slightly higher up, but it's quite comfortable. Dropping down the gearbox, 5, down to third, very precise. With third gear, quite low revs there to pull away, no chugging or anything like that. And the steering feels very light, quite responsive, just a gentle push on the bars, and it allows the bike to counter steer quite nicely. So we'll test that a wee bit more when we get into some slightly more open roads. So just stopped at the lights here, neutral, so have a quick look at the controls. So on the left hand side you've got your select and enter button for changing your modes. You've got your flash, your headlights in the back in the usual place, indicators, horn. On the right side you've got your engine kill switch, your hazards and your engine start button. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this with the sun, but the TFT, it's actually quite clear to read. The sun's right behind me, and I can still see it. It washes it out a wee bit with the bright sunshine, but I can still see it. And we've got a USB here with a USB-A, and it looks like a USB-C. If you're running sat-navs or anything off of it, you could do that. Mirrors are quite good. They're a very similar shape to the Honda mirrors I've got in my CB500X, so they give a good view out the back, quite wide, and I can't really see much of my elbows at all, to be honest. So they're good, and they don't appear to vibrate. So I'm sitting here at the traffic lights, my right foot is on the brake, my left foot is flat down on the ground. I'm about 5'6" tall and a 29 inseam, and I've still got a bend in my leg. I like the wee touches there in the grips is TRK. Again, lovely smooth pull away. Just at the low revs, the throttle's got a wee bit of a snatch on it. Just when you initially put the power on, you can feel the kind of grabbing almost. It's nothing too extreme, and you can probably smooth that out with working on the clutch if you drag the clutch slightly. I think with the seated position, whilst I said it is comfortable, I do feel my legs are quite tucked up underneath me. So if you did have particularly long legs or were very tall, you'd need to try this for size. I don't know if you would find this comfortable for an extended period of time. It's fine for me because I'm quite short. So 4th gear at 30 miles an hour, smooth enough. As I said with the throttle, any little change in the throttle you can feel a slight, it's very slight snatchiness to it, but nothing you couldn't get used to. Visibility behind me is great with these mirrors, nice and wide. The foot pegs feel quite wide as well. These have got the rubber inserts in them. I know you can take them off and it gives you the metal pegs for more off-road riding. So still cruising along here at 30 in 4th gear. Bike's absolutely fine. Drop it down to 3rd. So into the corner there. Very nice, very smooth in the corner. It accelerates up to speed well. Not going to get landed on by EasyJet coming in here. So that's 5th gear at low revs, and the bike is quite happy. It does a 6-speed box. Let's jump up to 6 and see what that's like. So 6 at 40 miles an hour. It's quite slow. If you roll on the throttle, there's a bit of vibration from that, but you would probably want to drop down to 5th to do that kind of acceleration. And the seat feels quite comfortable. I'm not feeling any numb bum or anything like that, which is always a good thing. And these handguards are actually quite effective at keeping the wind off my hands. I'd probably upgrade these to like bark busters or something like that. So just coming up here, we'll drop down to 5th for the lights, and the bike handles that, no issues at all. Sitting there at 5th at just over 40, you can feel a kind of, it's kind of hard to describe. It's not like a chugginess, but it's not a silky smoothness of the throttle either. It's a very slight kind of up and down. It's maybe just the revs I was sitting at there. So what we'll do is we'll go into the business park here, find a wee bit to spot, and we'll have a walk round of the bike. So having a look round the bike, this is the Benelli TRK 702. So you've got a 698cc parallel twin engine with a 180 degree crank. This bike's putting out 70 horsepower at 8,000 RPM, and the torque is 70 newton meters at 6,000 RPM, so nice torquey bike. Front suspension of the bike, you can see here these forks are quite big chunky forks. You've got a 50mm upside down fork, 140mm travel, and there is no adjustment in the forks, but I find them to be fine. Brakes, you've got twin 320mm discs up front with 2 piston floating calipers, and the Benelli branded. So the front tyre on this bike is 17 inch, so it's 120 70 17, and if you go for the more off-road bike, the X, it's a 19 inch front. Rear tyre is a 150 70 17. Rear suspension, you can't really see it in there, but there's tucked away nicely. If you want to check out the full spec in that, feel free. I think it's got 173mm of rear wheel travel, I believe. But it's got a decent sized fuel tank, you're looking at 20 litres. It's quite a nice looking bike in this white colour. So we'll just get some footage of me sitting on the bike to give you an idea of the seat height. As I said, I'm 5'6" with a 29-inch inside leg. As you can see from the stance of the bike, it's quite high at the front, so it gives you a very upright riding position. Getting on is very easy, just swing your leg over nicely. And I can get both feet down with tiptoes, and if I move one foot on the peg, I can get my other foot flat. Very comfortable bike, and a nice straight upright riding position. We'll have a look at the bike with the lights on. It's quite sunny today, so I'm not sure how well you'll see it. Not very well at all, to be fair, but you've got an LED headlight there. You've got inbuilt indicators which are into the fairing. Switch them on, let you have a look. So you can see that they are nicely integrated into the fairing. Really nice big chunky grab handles. If you're carrying a pillion, they'll be happy with them, absolutely solid. But it comes with your rack as well, and your rear light tucked up nicely underneath. LED indicators in the back also. So all round a nice looking bike. Now let's jump back on and continue the test ride. Okay, so jumping back in the Benelli to continue the test ride. The bike's nice and light off the side stand, not heavy at all. And at low speeds it's nice and easy to manoeuvre. So like round this car park for example, very easy. It's quite responsive in the clutch, so it's easy to feather the clutch if you feel like you're maybe bike's getting away for a wee bit. You can just dip the clutch slightly and it rolls back. Okay, so we'll do a wee roll on test, so drop it down to 20 miles an hour in third gear. If we roll the throttle on, plenty of power there, picks up nicely. You're more likely to be accelerating out of a 30 zone, so let's go from 30 and 4th, roll the brakes on, roll the power on, nicely. Okay, let's try the brakes, nothing behind me. Very responsive. If you're looking for a mid-sized adventure bike or touring bike, perhaps it's your first bike, big bike after a 125, I think this would be a good option. The 70 horsepower is plenty, but it's not enough that it's going to be overpowering for you or get you into trouble. I think it would be a good step, and it's, of course it's very attractive. The price is really competitive. So we're just heading out the industrial estate onto some more open roads. Round the roundabout there, it's very nice. Accelerate up to speed. I do feel that when I open the throttle I kind of slide back a wee bit. I think it's just because of the seating position, and my arms being quite high and my legs being quite high. Probably just also me not being used to the bike. So we're going to take a left here, so dropping down the speed through the gearbox. Very nice on the brakes, drop it into the corner. This is a terrible surface. Power. So for an everyday riding bike, it's excellent. Right, 4th gear, let's go for an overtake on this car here. So go on the power. There's absolutely plenty for a safe overtake. Although that screen in front of me there is quite small, it seems to be doing the job quite well. I'm not getting any buffeting on my helmet, and it seems to be deflecting the air up and over me quite well. coming through these bends. Got a car there, so unfortunately I can't really push it too much, but accelerates nicely out the bend there in 5th gear, didn't have to drop down or anything like that. So I'm quite impressed with this so far. It handles nicely, a bit of counter steering there, and it dropped into the corner perfectly, and it went exactly where I expected it to go. I think that's because the bars are quite wide and they do give a good bit of leverage. The cyclist here, and again that was 5th gear, rolling on the power to pass the cyclist, and it is absolutely adequate. Getting into 3rd, wee bit of counter steering on the bars. Well, that dropped in quite quick there. The bike feels very light. For it being physically quite big, it does feel quite lightweight. Drop down into 5th for a wee overtake here. Go on. Yeah, bags of power. For everyday use, bags of power. You could probably tour in this quite happily as well. There are deals with these 702s where they come with full Benelli luggage, their side cases and top box. So if you can get an offer like that, it's a no-brainer. So that's 6th gear, rolling on for an overtake, and again, absolutely perfect, no shortage of power to do that. Nice and smooth on the roll on as well, it wasn't chugging or protesting at all. Going into a more sweeping left-hander here. A bit of gentle pressure on the bars and it corners perfectly. The bike feels very stable. Sometimes depending on the rake of the forks they can feel a wee bit twitchy, but this feels absolutely fine. So we'll go for another 6th gear roll on overtake here. We are coming into 30, but 6th gear, rolling on. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm really liking that screen, it's very easy to read at a glance. And, closing the throttle down to 30 and the bike's perfectly smooth. I do feel now at about 3000 revs it wants to down change, so drop it down to 5th. It's ideal. Again, I can feel it just sitting at 3000 revs. I can feel the throttle with a wee bit of roughness in the throttle. And I always say when you watch video reviews, it'll give you an idea as to a bike. Not often do you see a video review where folk will go, that bike's absolutely awful. But I do urge you to get out and test ride a bike yourself and see what you think. Because you might not like it, which is fine, people like different things. So I'd strongly urge you to test ride the bike yourself. So I think if you were out on a Sunday afternoon for a ride with your friends, you could have some good fun in this. Don't think you'd be left behind either. It hustles along the road quite well. I like the sound of the bike as well. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's quite a nice deep throaty sound. And this is just the standard can it comes with it, there's no aftermarket exhaust or anything like that. So 3rd gear, accelerate up to speed. That's not full throttle, not by any means, and it's perfect. So coming round this slightly more twisty section, yep, does exactly as I would expect it to do. And then you can accelerate up to speed on the 60 zone well. What I like about the foot pegs is they're really big, so you get a lot of space to move your feet about on the pegs. So if you were spending a long time in the saddle, you get plenty of scope to move. Same as the seat, it's quite a decent size, so I can move forward and back by quite a distance. So if you were doing some touring on this, be ideal. There's no cruise control in the bike, unfortunately. That's kind of one downside. And I think if I was going to be doing a lot of touring, I would maybe consider a bigger screen. One thing I haven't tested is standing up. You probably do this more in the off-road version, but yeah, it's actually quite a comfortable position. See, because the bars are relatively high, it means my arms aren't overly stretched to get to the controls, and those wide pegs really do help when you're standing up. So we're going to come up to the motorway here, and we'll try a bit of higher speed riding on the motorway. Go up into third. Accelerate up the slip road to national speed limit. Again, that's not full throttle, and you'll see from that burst of speed there, the bike has got absolutely no difficulty accelerating up to speed. Continuing along here, 70 miles an hour, well, a bit faster than 70 now. So riding along at 70, bike's fine. Because this is quite a wide tank and fairing here, I'm actually getting a lot of protection on my legs. I'm barely getting any wind on my legs. My upper body and head are in smooth air as well, so there's no buffeting or anything like that. I can sit at this all day long quite happily. So at motorway speeds, the bike's perfectly happy to cruise all day. Again, there's no vibration here through the bars at this speed, and no vibration through the pegs. It's all very smooth and comfortable. Just at a small detail, whilst the bike is quite physically big at the front and there's a lot, when I'm looking ahead, I can't really see much of this. So I've got a really good clear visibility. I've got no clutter in front of me, which is just a small detail, but it does make a difference. And I can just glance down at the speedo there and see my speed and gears and revs very clearly. Only slight criticism I would probably say is I don't like the font at the bottom for your trip. It's quite big and blocky, so at a glance it takes more than a wee glance to figure out what those numbers are. But the 6 and the 8s look quite similar. But how often do you actually look at what your odometer is when you're out riding? Pretty slim. So rolling off the throttle, slowing down, very smooth, very smooth. On the brakes, 2 fingers on the front brake, and it's really all the power I need. Hear a wee bit of popping there on the overrun just as we slow down, and there's that wee snatch again just as you put the second gear power on. There's just that wee grab. As I said in the walk around, the suspension is non-adjustable, but for me that's absolutely fine. I very rarely adjust the suspension on bikes, mainly because I don't really know what I'm doing, so I don't often tweak them, and this is fine. It's comfortable, it's damped well, and it doesn't pogo on rough ground, so it's fine. So it's third gear roundabout. That's actually a bit better than doing it in second, because it's a wee bit smoother and you can feather the clutch. So that's us just heading back to AMR. So once again, my thanks to Hazel and the team for letting me take this bike out on a test. It's very much appreciated. And I suppose the overriding question is, would I buy one? And I think the answer to that question is probably, yeah, I would buy one. It's a good step up from the bike I've got just now, the CB500X, so yeah, I think I probably would buy one. This is the key. Now, which is a wee bit unusual because you press the button and you can fold it. That's quite cool. I like that. So there we go, guys, that's the TRK 702. Nice bike. Enjoyed riding that, and I would definitely consider one. So if you are thinking about one of these, get yourself down to AMR in Hillington. They've got a full range of Benelli, Royal Enfield, and loads of different stuff available for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.